I'm PK along with Dr. Nathan Unruh for SIDECAR. Today, Dr. Nathan Unruh would like to talk about negativity. Well, we all know those people. Maybe we are those people. But boy, this is a bad thing.
Yeah, we have a tendency ourselves. I mean, all of us go through this, and I think.
Well, look at our news. Our news is all about negative,
yes.
negative. So it's kind of surrounding us.
I've read a quote one time of Zig Ziglar's. He says every morning he wakes up and he reads the newspaper and he reads the Bible. Then he knows what both sides are doing. So I enjoyed that comment. But I always think about, are you one of those people that light up the room when you leave the room, or do you light up the room when you walk into the room? Mm-hmm. And so we want to make sure that we are checking ourselves of how are we acting and behaving. And we know in our offices, we are dealing with complaints all day long. We have to be problem solvers because that's what we do. Right. So we got to be able to bring that inspiration, that hope. We got to be able to bring that, hey, we can help end this needless suffering. So one of the things I want to dive into is what are the true costs of negativity? It says that it costs the U.S. economy between 250 to 300 billion every year in lost productivity. Wow. So think about that just in the workplace. People sitting there, walking through the door, complaining about their friends, their family, all the personal baggage. So one of the things we just want to always say, before you hit the threshold, because here's the reality, we all got stuff. Mm-hmm. Every single one of us. But when we hit the threshold, it ain't about us. It's about the people sitting in front of us, and we have to bring a positive attitude. Here's another statistic of cost of negativity. 90% of doctor visits are stress-related, and the number one cause of stress is coworkers and their complaining.
It's powerful.
Powerful.
And sad.
And sad. And so we got to check ourselves, and we can't create that culture of complaining within our offices. We got to say no. And that's part of our code of honor that we encourage doctors to have. Complaining should not be part of the culture. Mm-hmm. It's not going to help you serve your patients or serve your vision. Third one, negative employees can scare off every customer they speak with for good. Guys, the reality is this, is we only have one shot at this. We have to be good every single time, not just once in a while. We know people leave practices. The number one reason is perceived indifference. 68.4% of people that leave is because of perceived indifference. So that can look like if you're complaining with a coworker, you're firing off emails that are complaining, you're reading complaining stuff. So we got to really be very self-aware of that. Another one here, decreased productivity of an overall team. That's probably speaks for itself. And then one negative person can create a miserable office environment for everyone else. It's the old idea, one bad apple spoils a bunch.
Everybody knows who they are, too.
Yeah.
You get a reputation for being that person.
And we get what we tolerate, PK.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
So from a leadership perspective, we can't tolerate it. As members of a team, when you're in the trenches together every single day, we spend more time at work together than anywhere else. Can't tolerate it.
It's like having a virus.
Yeah.
Kind of going through your office. Yeah.
Got to get rid of it. So negative emotions are associated with the following things: decreased lifespan and longevity, increased risk of heart attack, increased risk of stroke, greater risk of stroke, greater stress, less energy, more pain, fewer friends, less success. My word, that sounds like a blast.
That sounds like pretty much a recipe for disaster right there.
Oh, so I love this story. We all remember Snoopy, right?
Mm-hmm. As
in Charlie Brown and Snoopy. Well, it was Thanksgiving, and Charlie Brown was enjoying a feast with his family, and poor Snoopy wasn't invited, and Snoopy was sucking on his thumb, and was all alone in his doghouse with dog food and a dog bone. He wasn't a happy camper. But then he had a thought that changed everything. He thought, I guess it could be worse. I could have been a turkey.
It's perspective, right
perspective.
There.
It's always perspective.
Wow.
So negativity can be like a cancer in an organization. Slow growing, and it will destroy the whole organization if it's not addressed. If a boat has a hole in it, it doesn't just sink part of the boat. It sinks the whole boat. So why do people complain? Because they are fearful and helpless. And number two, because it had become a habit.
And sometimes you even learn that as you're growing up and different things like that. If you're in a culture that's how they communicate even.
I agree.
It can be a really long-term learned thing.
I agree. So being able to take a step back and being self-aware of what's coming out of your mouth, what's coming out of your head, and what's going in your head. Mm-hmm. If you're watching lots of TV and you're reading lots of negative stuff, what goes in is going to come out. So put good things in your head. Mm-hmm. Be around the right people, right? So there are two roads here that you have an option. That's the good news, right? Two roads: positive road, which will lead to enhanced health, happiness, and success, or the negative road, which will lead to misery, anger, and failure. So So which road do you want to travel? It's always up to us. If it's to be, it's up to me. But here's the reality. On those two roads, you can only be on one road. The bus only travels one of those roads. One of the quotes I love by Lou Holtz, he said, don't complain. 80% of the people you complain to don't care, and 20% are glad you have the problems.
It's perfect.
Isn't that true?
It's perfect. Okay, so we've identified a lot of the hazards and long-term even effects of this. What can we do, perhaps, in someone's office today?
The good news is change is instantaneous. Change it now. So as a team right now this morning, make the commitment. Stop complaining. We put up a sign right where everybody walks in the door. No complaining. I think you had a great idea.
Well, I have a button that I got years ago somewhere. It had wine, W-H-I-N-E on it, and then it had the red circle with the line through it.
I was glad you didn't say W-I-N-E.
Yeah, I know. That
I'm
could
just
people will be shutting this off right now. But it was like a no whine zone because, boy, it's easy to whine about stuff and complain. So, yeah, you're right. It's instantaneous if you set your mind to it.
And you just have to be committed as a group and as a culture. When somebody's complaining, you got to call them out. It's going to be part of the code. Get back on the right track. We got to serve people, and that's the most important thing.